Springboks over Canada, 66 points to 7. If you've watched this game, especially the first half, you would have thought probably could have been a fair few more for the Springboks. And Canada did especially well in the second half. And the fact that they got a try probably bodes well for them going forward into that final game for them against Namibia. Because in the first half, it looked like they were well off the pace. I mean, Namibia were only 1 point behind the All Blacks for 30 minutes. And Canada, at the same point, were 40 points down against the Springboks. So, game of two halves for both sides, really. Cliche is true once again. It starts quick for South Africa. They get the first try on about 2 or 3 minutes for Damien Delende. Elton Yankees with the pass and the lead up makes it 7-0. And Nkosi gets his try on 6 minutes, and Kwaka Smith had a pass in the lead up. It was flat, but still good. 12-0. 9 minutes. Reinach gets the first of 3 tries. I believe this is the fastest hat trick in World Cup history. First of 3 tries, and 3 tries in a row as well. His first one is the best one. If you haven't seen the highlights, and the highlights video from World Rugby is not out yet, you must go back and watch it, because he gets the ball from the back of a ruck. It's about one phase after a scrum. He just picks it up and he runs, and there's acres of space, and he puts the hammer down. He's going for gold. He chips ahead, beats the winger against Hassler, and regathers the ball, scores a try. It's just an absolute piece of individual magic. You won't see much better than that. He runs 3/4 of the field. Phenomenal effort. 19-0. Second try on 18 minutes. Snyman did well in the lead up for that one with getting the ball up over the advantage line. And Reinach was just kind of the man there on the spot. 26-0. And then on 20 minutes, it's basically right from the restart from the try that he's just scored, his second one. A cross kick from Yankees goes to Galant, who runs a good line. He passes to Delinde. Delinde passes to Reinach again, who's just running a good support line. And it's 33-0 after 20 minutes. It's looking really poor for Canada. 28 minutes, Galant gets a try. It's from a scrum move. He beats about 3 defenders on his way to the try line, which is pretty poor. That was maybe the worst one for Canada in terms of just how bad the defense was. It was lacking effort, I felt, in that one, and it was 40-0 after half an hour. Finally, though, on about 33 minutes, Canada actually start getting some ball, because up until this point, they've spent most of the game trying to tackle the Springboks, falling off tackles and standing under their sticks. I looked on my phone at about that point, and their possession and territory were single digits. It was like 4% and 7%, I think. Really bad. It doesn't get a whole lot worse than that. I don't know if I've ever seen it after 30 minutes, but they finally get some ball and they look alright. The South African defence looks fired up to stop them from getting any tries. And then, as if it's not bad enough, it seems to get a bit worse for the Canadians, because Larson gets sent off, and he's a replacement already. He gets sent off for a shoulder charge onto Thomas Tutoi's head. And it's kind of an unnecessary shoulder charge. It's a ruck, and he's not going to do anything by doing it, but he still puts his body in. He hits him a bit high, and he's gone burger. So, yeah, it goes from bad to worse for the Canadians there. You're thinking maybe this is going to be a 100-pointer. Honestly, at that point. And then end of the first half, Stain gets an intercept. Phil Mack throws a pass. Stain just reads it, and it's within the Canadians' own 10-meter line. He just kind of flops over, and he almost apologizes to Mack for intercepting that ball and getting the try. So it's 47-0 at halftime. And remember, they're going into the second half with an extra man. So it really looks like the Springboks are going to go handy. Halftime stats, run meters 379 to 67. For about the first half hour, the Canadians had 9 run meters, because they had about 1 run. Honestly, I'm not exaggerating. Position was 76-24, territory 77-23. Tackling was 76% for the Springboks. They made 13 out of 17 tackles. They weren't doing much defending because they didn't need to. Canada were at 55%, made 25 out of 47. So that was where they were struggling. Second half, Canada actually start on the front foot. If you have to give the team talks a rating, Canada's one was a lot better. Kingsley Jones did whatever he said, seemed to work a treat. I admit for South Africa, it's kind of hard to inspire a team which has just put 47 points on in half a game, because what else is there to do, really? But, Canada put the pressure on early. Eventually, 46 minutes, Heaton, who's the guy who blew the try against Italy, he dropped the ball cold, which should have been a try for all money. He gets a try. The TMO checks it for obstruction, but he rates it as okay. Hassler had gone close in the build-up, but at that point it's 47-7. Great work for Canada. Came out of the second half, firing, even with a man down, managed to score against the Springboks. Top effort. No matter what happens for the rest of the game, that's a good point for them to look back on. It takes about another 10 minutes, but Brits gets a try for South Africa. They're just building a lot of pressure and eventually go over at 61-7. And he goes off kind of looking a bit injured after that, limping. Maybe he's got a bit of cramp, not sure. We'll wait and see what the medical report says on that. And then there's two more tries for South Africa to round things off. Willemse gets one. It's from a scrum, and they just find space out wide. He runs over for his first try. So he looked really sharp in a game where he's been called up as an injury replacement, so he's put his hand up, which is a good effort. He's a real guy for the future as well. So it's 61-7, and then Malherbe, who's not really a try-scoring machine, he gets over the line. Kolisi had a big run in the build-up, and then they got the ball to Malherbe, and he kind of stretched out, which is not, again, something we don't usually see. Finishes 66 points to 7. So good effort from the Canadians in the second half. The Boks were just unplayable in that first half hour. Canada just couldn't do anything about it, and they were just scoring tries for absolute fun. I kind of feel good for Canada that it didn't go that way for the whole of the game. They managed to get into it, and for that second half effort can definitely hold their heads up high for having a relatively competitive half against a proper Tier 1 nation. South African fans may be a little bit disappointed about the second half not being able to push on. But like I said, it is pretty hard to motivate guys to keep on hammering down when they are so far ahead. And you've got a bit of a break, and then, World Cup knockout games to come. So there's no point in thrashing your own body for this one and risk injury. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe the Canadians stepped up. Maybe the South Africans took their foot off the gas. Probably a bit of both. Final stats, run meters, 674 to South Africa, 198 for Canada, so a much better effort for the guys in red. Possession ended up 63-37, territory 66-34. Remember, the first half it was almost 80% for South Africa, so second half was 54-46 and 57-43 to South Africa, so slightly dominant rather than just absolutely one-sided. Tackling, South Africa ended up with 78%, which again, by their standards, is probably not the best. 53 out of 68. Canada, 54%, 55 from 107. The damage really was done in that first half, but they still did concede a few tries in the second. Penalties conceded was 5 to South Africa, 8 to Canada. You got to remember the South African scrum was absolutely dominant for this one as well. And South Africa's set piece, happily for them, was at 100%. So that's a good thing for them going into the break before the playoffs or the knockout stages as well. As I said, it is a long break for South Africa. They are more than 10 days, I think, until we know, until their next game. So a good chance for them to rest up. Hopefully they don't build up any rust in that time. That's kind of it's a double-edged sword. Do you go with the rest and get everybody fit, work on all your team plays and whatnot, or do you keep that match fitness there by having played a recent game? Either way, individuals, Snyman, I think he got man of the match. 50 run meters for a locks, top stuff, 4 defenders beaten, 2 clean breaks, 3 offloads. He always gets the offloads away. 9 from 9 tackles made him the equal best tackler for South Africa in this game, alongside Mostert. And Kossi, top run meter getter, 105, 4 defenders beaten. Reinach had 79 run meters, 5 defenders beaten, 3 tries. Rumble once again was the top tackling top tackling Canadian with 13 from 14 tackles. I think he had 19 in the previous one against the All Blacks. So yeah, interesting game. Like I say, the second half as a neutral was probably a bit of a better watch, but the South Africans absolutely set the first half on fire with about as dominant a period of rugby as you will ever see. So yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts on this one. How do you think it went? And I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.